Okay, now you, sir, why don't you want to go to heaven?
Because there comes a time when you get bored of just about anything.
Okay, do you ever get bored of love? Do you ever get bored of people loving you?
Given an eternity.
Yeah. Do you ever get bored of being creative and being more and more creative and more creative?
There aren't infinite things to come up with.
Sir, relationships are so fascinating and so deep. And in heaven, you're going to be loving God and loving others throughout eternity. And in heaven, you're going to be using your gifts of creativity to create. So heaven's not going to be boring. You know very well that you affirm life. You go to the best doctor you can whenever you get sick. Why? Because you affirm life. You don't want to die.
I don't want to die now.
When do you want to die?
When I'm bored of living.
When you're bored of living.
That's a subjective thing.
I'll probably die before I'm bored of it, but given an eternity, I probably eventually. If it comes to the idea of an afterlife, if it comes to an idea of like an ideal state to be in afterlife, the Buddhist idea of nirvana is what appeals to me the most.
Yeah. Well, Jesus Christ contradicts nirvana, obviously. Nirvana is you lose yourself and you become one with the upper ground. And Jesus Christ says, no, in heaven you're not going to lose your identity, you're still you. And you're going to be able to relate as a unique individual to God, and you're going to be able to relate as a unique individual to other created beings. That's exciting. That's what excites you and fulfills you most in this life today.
But what if I don't believe that the concept of individuals is meaningful?
If you say that to me, I would accuse you of being an intellectual hypocrite. Why? Because I bet you do value your relationships with friends. I bet you make a distinction between enemy and friend. Person who you really don't care to get to know versus person you do get to know. So don't stand out here and tell me that you don't value certain people.
What part of a phone makes it a phone?
I don't know. I didn't make the phone.
If you take apart a phone, and take all of its parts and use them in other electronics, are they still a phone?
No. It's got to be together in order for it to be a phone.
So what you're saying is a phone is just a label for a collection of parts that perform a specific purpose.
Yeah, but it's a very accurate label.
Isn't that the same with people?
You're a human being created in the image of God. Can you have a lobotomy that changes you radically? Yeah, but guess what? Please don't get a lobotomy. Please stay yourself. But yes, if you have a lobotomy, if you have a horrible car accident, your brain is really messed up, yeah, you'll be different. Yes, but you're still a valuable human being created in the image of God.
So how many parts do you have to take away to stop being?
I do not know. I don't know.
So which part of the brain is it that makes you a person?
The whole thing. So don't get rid of any of your brain.
Parts.
You're going to lose enough brain cells as it is. Don't get rid of any of your brain. It's a beautiful gift from God.
I think that's an inappropriately literal interpretation of what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there isn't a fundamental kernel of you-ness. Your brain is a bunch of parts. Your brain and those parts are a bunch of cells. Well, so they're acting together and they perform a purpose together, and that purpose is what we call you. But there is no fundamental existence that is you.
There is no me that you can x-ray. You're right. There's no me that comes out in a blood test. You are correct. But I would argue that science, although it's a wonderful branch of knowledge, is not all of knowledge. There's such a thing as relationship, loving a person, trusting a person.
I said I was a Buddhist. I'm not saying science is everything.
But when you start talking about the brain and how much of your brain do you have to lose, you're back into your materialism. You're an interesting combination of a materialist and someone who's flirting with Buddhism.
Buddhism is a fairly materialist religion.
All right, good. So you are a materialist who's flirting with Buddhism. At least that's what you said. You're considering Buddhism.
I am considering it, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm sitting here saying, please consider Jesus Christ. Read the Gospels. Ask yourself, does the evidence of the way Jesus lived, taught, died, and rose from the dead point to him being reliable or not?
But you say that materialism is a contradiction, but like the argument I'm giving about how a human is just a collection of parts is an argument literally given in the Questions of King Melinda, one of the most important texts in Buddhism.
Yeah. And I'm saying don't become a Buddhist for many different reasons. Here's the first reason. For you to believe that suffering is an illusion would be very sad. Suffering is not an illusion, sir. Suffering is very real. And you want to know why I'm not a Buddhist and instead I'm a follower of Christ? Because when I stand in front of a statue of Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, sitting cross-legged with a little smile on his face, telling me that suffering is an illusion, for me to accept that would be to part company with reality. Because I sit beside the bed of dying people who are dying in pain of terminal cancer and other weird diseases. Instead, when I stand before the cross of Jesus Christ, and he's in agony there, but he's offering forgiveness and eternal life, that is reality, sir. That is a God who I can connect with, because guess what? I suffer, and we all suffer. And a God who wants to meet us in our suffering, that's called reality, as opposed to suffering's an illusion. No, it's not an illusion. It's very real. And that's why I respect Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, but I can't be a Buddhist. Because suffering's real.
Except the Mahayana and Vajrayana interpretations of Buddhism, the two most predominant sects, hold that helping other people is noble because when people are safe and healthy and provided for, they are in the best conditions to reach enlightenment.
Good. And so there's a lot to commend in Buddhism.
That isn't an exhortation to ignore suffering.
But correct. And that's a part of Buddhism that I celebrate. But then if you study Buddhism further, you begin to realize that what Siddhartha Gautama Buddha was saying was, cut off your desires. What? Yeah, cut off your desires. Wait a second. I desire to help you if you're hurting. I can't cut off all my desires. Instead, I need to learn as a thinking human being to discern the difference between good desires and bad desires.
But but the teachings of Buddhism suggest that you should help someone not because you desire to, but because it's good.
Okay, fine. I desire to do good, all right? And guess what? I think you desire to do good at times also. I think we're very similar.
I would agree.
Okay? So, get in touch with your desire to do good and ask yourself, where does that desire come from? Is it objective? Is it real? Or is it just a blind prejudice?
I need to get the
You bet. Good to talk.